Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If Karmic Gacha system in Modern Family World. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 76, a bit of an overreaction, don't you think? Phil's commentary. Although the song was great, I'm worried for Ed. He went through so much before he even reached puberty, and I'm afraid it will influence his personality greatly. Most people wouldn't even notice it, but I'm not most people. Phil said in a concerned voice, but with a hint of bragging at the last sentence. His face turned sour and he said, he's not walking, he's not enjoying life, but he's sprinting madly ahead, as if he is being chased by something. Phil had no idea what he thought was extremely close to the truth. After talking to his aunt, I know for sure he's pushing himself madly. It's not normal. It's not even normal for a kid to be as mature as him. If he keeps walking this path, he'll eventually burn himself out for sure. It's like my roommate Ling when he thought he could build a voice break helicopter. Third-person POV. While the premiere at Jay's house was ongoing, two young women were watching Ed's music video from a laptop. A blonde and a Latina brunette. The blonde was sitting on a chair while the brunette was standing behind her watching the music video over her shoulder. He's so dreamy. He's only 14? Are you sure? Selena said using a professional tone as she tried to hide her fluttering heart while watching the music video. I'm sure. And I'm sure he's still currently growing, Taylor said while licking her lips seductively. Selena rolled her eyes at her currently going to be her bestie, and slammed the laptop shut, startling Taylor. With narrowed eyes, Selena said, "Don't even dare to think about it. You'll go to jail." Taylor shrugged as the thing on the boat was only her and Ed's secret, so no one else knew about it. Disney is also interested in him, right? Taylor said to Selena with a sly smirk. She had been talking N-word up with a few producers and important people in Hollywood without him even asking her to do so. Yeah. They are considering casting him in some shows, but he's not made for Disney image, Selena said with a wry smile. /N, that means keeping things light for the general audience. Whatever degeneracy they did behind the camera screen didn't count. That's good. I also don't think Disney is his style, Taylor said while leaning back on the chair. Selena rolled her eyes again and said carefully, "So, Juliet, you're going to meet him for recording this Friday, right? Can I come with you?" Taylor turned and looked at Selena in disbelief, and no. Why would you want to come? She had planned to have some alone time with Ed, therefore she didn't want to take a chance in bringing someone else. Selena gazed at Taylor suspiciously and said, "Now, I know for sure I need to come." Edward POV after the premiere. Encore. 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 Cam started a chant, but only Gloria and Phil followed along to his words. Nevertheless, everyone agreed to repeat watching the video. My face was blushing as their support was tugging at my heartstrings. The younger generations caught my expression and they were sniggering by themselves before I finally stood up to try and move away from there. I have avoidance issues, I know. Pepper gave me a hug as he saw me standing up. Why are you so flustered? Did you get worried that people wouldn't like it? You're a natural kid. You can sleep on a piano and wake up to a hit song. He released me, but his hands were still holding my shoulders. He looked me straight in the eyes before saying, "I'm really proud of you." **, that's my line. My real dad swooped in and grabbed me from Pepper and mimicked Pepper's action before this. He said, "I'm proud of you, Ed." Yeah. I know, I said with my face still red from the embarrassment. Haley giggled mischievously and said, "He's blushing." The group let out awe and teased me a bit before the video reaction died down. Mitch and Cam's commentary. I didn't expect Ed's storytelling to be so impactful. Mitchell said with eyes full of awe. Cam made a side eye at him and said, maybe because it resonated with you deeply? For me, I had never been cheated on, so. Mitchell rolled his eyes before saying angrily, how are we talking about me? We're talking about Ed. Cam giggled and closed his mouth before Mitchell turned back to the camera. How he played with the ups and downs of life. That's beautiful. Mitchell said, but Cam's stifled giggling made him unable to continue his words. Claire's commentary. To be honest, I was too drunk to remember how I reacted. Claire said before the camera cuts to the scene of her drinking her 7th glass of wine during the screening. But I'm sure it went great. Claire said with a smile on her face, but her eyes were shaky as she was internally disappointed in herself. Also, I remember groping someone's, I don't know. She said while trying hard to remember the affairs of the premiere. Commentary ends. Jay was enjoying the song 7 Years that I had made into a lyric video while sipping a glass of scotch in his single-seat sofa, with my dad, Pepper and Phil. He had poured them all a glass of his finest scotch as his mood was lifted through the song, although Phil was just an extra in there. E/N. Also Phil adds Sprite to 20-plus-year-old scotch, so that makes Jay mad, rightly so of course lol. I was hanging out with Jenna, Haley, Abby and Alex near the pool while sipping orange juices. Luke and Manny were playing together, while Jacob and Elsa had disappeared somewhere. My aunt was suspicious of them though, so I hope that they can make out without getting caught. I sincerely hoped that Jacob could get his time alone with Elsa, but I was also annoyed that they were too clingy with each other. They were slowly merging into one individual, which makes me shudder every time I think about it. As Jenna was left behind by her best friend, Alex stuck by her side lest she felt uncomfortable with the group there. She also secretly told me that Jenna didn't want to come at the beginning, which made me think back about my interaction with her to find out why she was so mad at me. I really didn't do anything wrong though? I thought as I talked with Haley and Abby. Hey, stop daydreaming. Abby said in annoyance as she saw my mind was elsewhere while I was talking to them. I'm not daydreaming though. Like I said, I didn't base the song on anyone. In fact, it was my own original in the world, or rather, the me without my past life memories. It was the first song he created while he was 12, 1 month after his mom left his family. Abby was not convinced by my words as she still thought I wasn't hearing her properly. I didn't know that this was the side effect of the parallel thinking I was currently using. I used one part of the mind to control my ears and mouth, but another part to control my eyes. Therefore, she kept getting the feeling that I wasn't totally there while talking to her, even while I was looking at her. Woman's instinct was scary. Haley laughed at Abby's misery before saying, Enid and Tara are late. They said they were coming by an hour ago. Are you sure you gave them the right address? I asked in concern. I'm sure. Haley said but ended her sentence like a question. Hold on, I'll check. Abby peeked at Haley's phone before she facepalmed and said, That's on the other side of the town, Haley. How could you? I didn't do this on purpose. Haley shouted before calling the sisters hurriedly. Ed, Ed. Why don't you tell us how you came up with the scenes? Mitchell said in excitement while dragging Cam with him. He wanted to use me to settle one of their usual arguments, and had been watching our conversation from afar before deciding to interrupt as Haley and Abby moved away. Desiree was talking with Gloria about back pain before the duo was attracted to Mitchell's question. The tipsy Claire was nearby, so she joined in the conversation too. She said before I could answer, I don't think he thought much about it. It seems fairly simple. Alex rolled her eyes while appearing out of nowhere with Jenna and said, Mom, do you really think he'd do things carelessly? I can promise you he thought about the matter deeply. I retorted, when you put it like that, it puts a fair bit of pressure on me, doesn't it? Sorry. Alex replied unapologetically and had a slight smirk on her lips before it faded away. I patted her head, which made her beam up, while simultaneously getting glared at by Haley and Abby from afar. What do you think about it, Mitchell? I asked, not noticing the sparks coming out of the girls' eyes while they were eyeing each other. Jenna and Alex on one team, Haley and Abby on the other. Mitchell huffed loudly and prepared himself before saying, like I said to Cam, The whole video is about revenge. The character was cheated on, so he made a revenge song to show everyone who the girl, truly was. Projecting much, Mitchell? Cam said snidely with a whisper, but everyone could hear it. Cam, what do you think? I asked. For me, the piano was his effort in making things work. He tried hard, but the relationship just couldn't be saved. So he moved on by getting on that train. Cam said. It's close. I said, acknowledging Cam's inner theater director skills. He grinned at Mitchell, making his partner roll his eyes again. But not accurate. I added, making the group even more interested. However, I sipped my orange juice and refused to continue elaborating. The group waited for a while, and was confused by my lack of further explanation. So, what is it? Haley asked with glittering eyes. And are you going to get tattoos next? She asked, biting her lower lip as she couldn't get the bad boy character out of her mind. Haley. Claire called her out to admonish her despite being drunk right now. Ed, don't make us wait. Tell us. Gloria said anxiously. I smirked and said, so you guys want the director commentary? Yes. They replied all at once with a frustrated expression. I chuckled a bit and stole a glance at Abby and Desiree before turning to Mitch and Cam. Abby noticed it, and her chest felt tight as she remembered the music video. To be honest, she didn't like the video clip so much, rather, she couldn't enjoy it. It brought back unpleasant memories when she heard it. In the first part, like Cam said, the piano is his effort. But not only that, it represents his feelings. He worked so hard to get to her, only to find that she was with someone else. But then, why didn't he leave the piano there? The group went silent for a while before Jenna replied, because he still had feelings for her? Yes. I said while turning my head to Jenna. I continued, after his relationship was over, the feelings turned into baggage instead. He tried to move on, but the baggage would still follow him. Until, he reached the train, and finally started to play with the piano. There, he finally confronted his emotions, processed them, accepted everything. He can finally leave it all behind and move on as a better person. That's why the last verse of the song was just saying he realized she wouldn't love him the same way that he loved her. It repeated until the end, when he finally boarded the train. My explanation caused the group to be silent. Abby scrunched her eyebrows together and said venomously, why should he accept it? Why should he be the one who suffers? I realized Abby was affected by my words, and turned towards her. True. It's unfair to be the person who didn't make any mistake, and the one who suffered at the same time. We're going to go. Mitchell said before pulling Cam away. But Cam stuttered as he was unwilling to miss the drama, but Mitchell was adamant to leave us alone. He even brought the other girls away with them, leaving only Desiree, Gloria, and Claire there. Although Mitchell hinted at them to walk away, they didn't realize it and stuck nearby to hear what we were saying. I patted Abby's head and said, the anger, the feeling of betrayal, it will haunt us. But, it doesn't mean that all the other people we met afterward will be the same. To carry the baggage with you means you will close off your heart to anything that might hurt you later in the future. You won't be able to be at ease when you're with a new person, and even if they didn't do anything, you couldn't help but compare them to the previous one. Then, you'll hurt yourself, and the new person, making the circle of anger and betrayal continue. It wasn't my intention to have this talk with Abby, but I wouldn't want to miss the chance to let her realize this. The more she denied that she was hurt, the more she would hurt others, and also herself. Mitchell and Cam opened their mouths slightly as they could still hear my words from afar, but they were so impressed by the way I handled things that there wasn't really anything they could say to add to it. Desiree smiled and hugged Abby from behind. Abby was startled, but Desiree said, he's right, you know. But Mom. Abby said with teary eyes. What is happening? Gloria asked in confusion. Claire whispered to her, her dad cheated on her mom. What? Cheated on her? Is he crazy? Gloria retorted as she was so shocked that someone would cheat on such a sexy woman. Abby POV. Why was he saying things like that? Why did he care so much about this topic? Couldn't he just pick another song to use? Why must he bring up my pain to the surface? Sounds selfish, but most of the characters in the series are self-absorbed. I just followed along. And, I'll remind you again, she's a teenager. Without me realizing it, tears pooled in my eyes as he patted my head. Luckily Mom pulled me to her embrace, so I didn't start crying in front of him. My mom brought me away from there, and sat me down. We finally have a talk about my dad's behavior after we avoided the topic for too long. We ran. After the incident happened, we both ran away. We ran from New York all the way to California. We left everything behind as we were afraid to face the truth. Yeah, it sucked having Dad cheat on Mom. But if he didn't do it, maybe I wouldn't have been able to meet Edward at all. I wanted to move on, but I kept getting drawn back to him. Why must he be like this? Why can't he just let me peacefully move on? I thought before realizing how hypocritical I was being. I was the one who stuck around, even after I had hurt him. I was the one who wanted to be friends, even after I ended things. I turned to look at him, who had a concerned look on his face as he watched me from afar. I couldn't help but let out a chuckle, even though I was still sad as I saw his stupid face. Bastard, I murmured to myself. Now, I'm addicted to you, I said with a determined look on my face. So, I will stop running. And maybe. Haley POV. My eyes shook as I watched Edward pat Abby's head. I listened to what he said to her, and I realized something. He had never pushed her out of his mind, and kept thinking of ways to help her. So, maybe the reason he rejected me wasn't because of my family at all. I said in self-depreciation while looking at him. Splurt asterisk. I suddenly heard someone spew their drink from behind me, and turned hurriedly to find Mitchell looking at me with a spooked face. You confessed? He shouted in my face to my horror, as I quickly cupped his mouth shut with my palm hurriedly. Uncle Mitch. This is not the place to talk about it, I said as I saw my mom looking at me and my uncle. He nodded to show he understands my words as he calmed himself down before dragging me away to interrogate me. Not that he needed to use strong techniques, I practically told him everything since I was 4. Uncle Cam also tagged along as he understood everything when he heard Uncle Mitchell scream, and we moved our conversation to the kitchen where no one was around. Basically, yeah. I confessed to both of them. Uncle Mitchell was still in disbelief while Cam instantly said, "What about Taylor? He's not dating TILO Uncle Cam. Focus," I said to him sternly. No, I mean, it's good that he isn't dating her now, but he really rejected you? And you still hang around him? Uncle Cam said, E/N. Well, technically he didn't reject her per se, they both talked and kind of both decided to err on the side of caution. I mean, Haley knows that if she just pushed a little more she would totally get him, lol. That's brave, Uncle Mitchell added. I rolled my eyes at the two big queens before saying, he had his reasons. Also, he told me he likes me too. I see. So he wanted to avoid a scandal. Uncle Cam came to his own conclusion. I was confused as I really thought that was true, but Uncle Mitch rolled his eyes at his partner and said, he's not. But Haley, I don't think that's all there is, right? Is there something else you're keeping away from me? I hesitated to tell them, before I finally just let it go. I slept with him. Slept with H-. Uncle Mitchell looked around hurriedly as he stopped shouting to make sure no one else heard it. With the spooked eyes, he asked, you guys used protection, right? And no. It's not Lee Dash. No? Uncle Mitchell exclaimed in horror while Uncle Kim shook his head in disappointment. No, it's not like that. We didn't do anything. We just slept, I said, hiding the fact that we actually had done something before. I like Uncle Cam, but I wouldn't talk to him about this. I will share it with Uncle Mitchell when we are alone later on. Edward POV. I need to go, Jenna said since her driver had already parked in front of the house to pick her up. She hugged me and said, "Congratulations on your debut. I will pray for you." Pray? Aren't you? I muttered as I knew for sure she was an agnostic. She blushed and said, "No, it's different. It's more like hope." You hung out with Mrs. Green too much. I teased her, which made her blush even more. Mrs. Green even said that she wanted to adopt Jenna to be her daughter if she had the chance, as she loved the girl. Maybe. Jenna replied with a twinkle in her eyes as she remembered Mrs. Green. Suddenly, the plot for Young Sheldon, where a slutty girl that George brought home was turned into a Catholic devotee by his mother, came into my mind. Whatever, as long as you're happy. And also, how's your tutoring going? I asked. Her eyes shook and she glanced at Alex with betrayal. Alex shook her head at her, trying to tell her she didn't expose her secret when I smirked and said, "Oh, so Alex is tutoring you. Good choice. She's the only one in the entire school that can reach my level, so you're good with this. She's trying hard, so you may not want to get cocky. I'll make sure that she can get number 2. Alex said with a puffed-up confidence. I laughed and said, "That reminds me. We need to change the term of the bet." Hey! Don't go back on your words now. Are you scared? Alex said instigatively. Yeah. Are you scared? Jenna followed along before she met my eyes and pulled her face away as blood rushed to her cheeks. I'm not doing anything like that. It's just there isn't a number system anymore. So, if you get A's for all the subjects in the final exam, then the bet is still valid. Ah. I forgot about that. Alex said in understanding. So, you want to continue the bet? Jenna said with a stutter. Why not? I said with a smile. No reason. Okay. I'll try my best. Jenna said with a renewed spirit after being downcast for the entire day. I returned to the party and was hanging out by the pool before I saw a magnificent sight. Claire was surrounded by Gloria and Desiree. They were having an intense discussion, and needed Claire to settle the argument for them. See, although mine are smaller, they are firmer. Gloria said as she grabbed Claire's right hand and made her grope her breast. Yeah. But mine is firm too, and it's not saggy. Desiree said before she grabbed Claire's left hand and made her touch her chest too. Life is good. I said as I watched them from afar. No one else noticed them beside me, and I thanked God for the first time in my life today as He gave me the opportunity to imprint the sight in my mind. What? Alex said, and before she could turn around, I grabbed her head and kept it still. Nothing. Just focus on me. She was confused, but she didn't say anything and continued bombarding me with her stories of her day at the mall with Jenna. She was so excited to finally have a good outing with her friends she wanted to share even the tiniest detail in her stories. I wonder if Mrs. Green gives out classes. I muttered to myself in amusement. Gloria and Desiree left Claire alone after a while. Although I was keeping my eyes on the wives and ex-wife, I did listen to Alex's stories attentively and chiming in here and there. So, I was thinking, maybe we can borrow your place to study? Alex asked her true purpose. Jenna was too embarrassed to study at the library and the Dunphy's house, well, you know the rest. Okay. Sure. I agreed without thinking much. Third-person POV. Inside the house, Pepper was talking with Jay and the others before he received a call from the movie studio that wanted Ed's song for their OST. He moved a bit further from the rest and picked up the call. His excited expression turned solemn as the call continued. It's very late notice. Pepper said in dissatisfaction. Let me talk to Ed first and I'll get back to you. His debut is this Wednesday. How could you even ask him to postpone his song release? 2 is Better Than 1 is already locked as the singles release. The person on the other line said with a shaky voice, I didn't plan this. The CEO suddenly got inspiration and made all of our lives miserable. Please, Pepper, we're prepared to offer $1 million as compensation. I don't care about the money. I will ask Ed first if it's even possible at all, since it would destroy his theme if we pick a random song 1 million can't even begin to compare to his debut success. Pepper said with a stern face. Chapter 77, A Wee Bit of Trouble. Edward POV. Jay bust out his grill, and Phil was helping him cook some nice steak while Pepper and I had the discussion in the living room. My dad was helpless in this matter, therefore he just sat around to provide me emotional support, while my aunt was grinding her teeth at the audacity of the film studio. So they wanted to include the song as a part of their marketing plan? I asked, troubled by the sudden change in the schedule. Do they know how hard it was for me to edit the song as Taylor and I recorded our parts in different locations? I slumped my shoulders, not blaming Pepper at all for the current situation. While wiping his sweat, Pepper said, that's their plan, and they are prepared to compensate you for this. But, I still told them I would talk to you about it first. If you feel we should release it now, then I will follow you. Pepper. That is putting too much pressure on him, don't you think? Mitchell interjected as most of the guests inside Jay's house had heard about the current situation. Why don't you release Put My Hands in My Pants? That song is good. /N, the lazy song, Luke interrupted while passing by to get away from Manny. 'Cause it doesn't suit the theme. I replied, and my mind quickly spun to think about the potential song replacement for 2 is better than 1. Go play somewhere else. Cam said as he herded Luke away before returning to his position, standing behind Mitchell. As the night deepened, I decided to no longer care about it and said, I'll think about it tomorrow. Pepper nodded without saying anything else as he understood that I couldn't make the decision wantonly. As she was in a bad mood, my aunt did something drastic after she caught Elsa and Jacob making out in one of Jay's 5 bathrooms, and had sent them both home separately, of course. During that time, when I looked at their aggrieved faces, I noticed that they were no longer clingy with each other. In fact, they seemed to abhor each other. Did they fight? I thought as I waved at Jacob while he was driven off. Never mind. I'll call him later. The premiere was finally over, and my aunt drove me home as my dad needed to head straight to the port. However, she didn't stay over today and left after dropping me off. Apparently she had a job to do, which was a topic that would interest me more if I wasn't in a dilemma right now. Pepper and the others decided to give me some space to think, therefore no one would try and urge me to come up with an answer. After taking a quick shower, I changed into my rarely worn pajamas and laid down lazily on my bed. I covered my forehead with the back of my hand as I let out a heavy sigh. Now, what should I do? What should I do? I thought as I racked my brain for the solution. I really thought I could finally relax a little tonight. But that was just a pipe dream, huh? I set up an alarm for me to get out of bed after getting some rest on my phone, but I don't think I can sleep again tonight. I mumbled with a heavy tone. Fuck. I cursed softly as I forcefully closed my eyelids to force myself to sleep. While I was struggling, I heard a metallic sound coming from outside the house, but I just ignored it. However, I soon heard a knock coming from my window. I was startled by the sound and sat up hurriedly while looking at the closed curtain. Who is it? I asked with a stutter as I slowly walked to the window. It's me. Haley called out from outside. I opened the curtain and saw the tiny girl cheekily smiling while looking at me. Why are you here? I asked in confusion as I unlocked the window to let her in. As she landed inside the room, I saw that she was wearing thick clothing that was covering almost her entire body. I peeked outside and saw that she had carried a ladder to come here. Smart. Thank you. Haley said as she fixed her messy clothes. I thought, you'll stay up all night again today. So I come to offer my service again. Haley said casually while hiding her embarrassment. The body pillow service? I asked and a grin suddenly appeared on my tired face. Why yes. We can call it that. Haley said while avoiding my eyes. As she was always being teased by me, she wanted to pay back, so she said, but you need to grab me and throw me to the bed like in the music video dash. Before she could finish her words, I did what she wanted and brought her to the bed. We fall side by side while locking eyes with each other. This is a bad idea. I muttered. I know. We will be in big trouble if we keep doing this. No need to worry, I have a solid plan this time. I will get back to my house the minute you fall asleep. Haley said as she brushed my hair before tracing my eyebrow with her slender finger. Then, she pulled me closer and cuddled me before closing her eyes. So, don't think too much. Just sleep. Third-person POV flashback. Mitchell, so? Haley, so? While Haley hitched a ride with her gunkles, gay uncles, sitting at the back with Lily while the adults were in the front of the car, Mitchell finally spoke up about their earlier topic. He glanced at Cam while hesitating, but Haley said to him, I don't mind. Mind what? Cam retorted immediately. Mitchell nodded to Haley and said, Are you sure about just being friends? It's not like there's anything else I can do about it. Haley said in self-depreciation. Don't say that. You're a beautiful girl. He should be glad you're interested in him. Cam said to reassure Haley before mumbling to himself, although, you're not the only one. What was that? Haley said while leaning forward to hear better. Even Mitchell couldn't catch what Cam said. Nothing. Cam said smilingly while scratching the top of his head. But to be fair, Haley, you guys are really different. Maybe not getting together is a good thing? Mitchell said in a concerned tone. We get along well. I mean, really well. There's never a dull moment when I am with him. Haley said. Mitchell smirked and said, I thought you were moving on. Why are you trying to defend your relationship with him? Cam widened his eyes and exclaimed, Oh, I didn't catch that. Nice one. Thank you. Mitchell said with a slight nod before getting back to Haley. Frustrated, she leaned backward and crossed her arms before pouting. I didn't mean to tease you. But, you guys didn't even start, and you just gave up. When you're so clearly interested in one another. Really? You think he likes me? Haley leaned forward as Mitchell managed to bait her again. Trying his hardest not to roll his eyes, Mitchell said, Weren't you the one who told me that before? Oh. Right. I also think there's more you haven't shared with me yet, but I'm not going to dig into that now. What do you think Ed will do about the song? Mitchell avoided the sensitive topic as the time with his niece was reserved only for him. Cam smiled in understanding and didn't say anything, yet. He'll hold a grudge and slowly retaliate later on. I don't think he should agree to it. He worked really hard in order to get everything ready before the single's release. He couldn't even get a little rest, but now, he will not be sleeping again. Cam got concerned and asked, What do you mean? Did he have trouble sleeping? Constantly. Haley said in frustration. Why? Mitchell asked after a slight pause. Cam became smug and said, If you check the records of the world's geniuses, they'll have a quirk of their own. Van Gogh cut off his own ear. Tesla went crazy and took a pigeon for a bride. There's a lot more examples out there. But, you can only remember 2 of them. Mitchell said, exposing Cam. He avoided Mitchell's eyes and looked away. Haley fell into a deep thought and mumbled to herself, Maybe I should go there, just to check up on him. I don't want him to go crazy after all, but first, I need to go change my clothes, to make sure he didn't get tempted to do anything else. Present time. Oh. You're already asleep. It's unfair if you keep behaving like this. Why do you fall asleep so easily when you're with me? Haley mumbled to herself as she studied Ed's sleeping face. I'll wait for a few more minutes before I leave. Although Haley planned to go back to her house, something unexpected happened outside Ed's bedroom window. A peculiar event occurred when a single gust of wind suddenly knocked down the ladder Haley prepared to sneak away, letting it fall to the ground. Haley heard the clicking sounds, but she didn't expect that it was coming from her escape route as the weather was clear today. Third-person POV. After Camila dropped Edward off at his house, she drove all the way to Calexico, a city on the border of Mexico and California. The part of the city she entered was desolate and quiet, and only the sound of her car engine could be heard. She pressed a button, and a warehouse door opened automatically. She drove inside of it before the door closed again, and it was like she was never there. Outside of the warehouse, a suspicious black van that had been following Camila since she drove off from Jay's house stopped 100 meters away from the building. We finally have a lead. Who is the warehouse registered to? A geeky agent named Mike asked his other team members. The lone female member of the team was continuously tapping her keyboard before saying, "It's registered to a Donnie Flacco." Flacco? Like the drug lord in Brooklyn Flacco? Is Pritchett connected to them? The leader of the team, a tough-looking man that looked like Ryan Reynolds, asked. I don't think that this is the same Flacco. This Flacco is clean, and only a collector. The hacker said. A fake identity then. Wow. This guy is good. He's very clean. The team leader said as Mira sent him the documents to read. Or. He's really an ordinary man. The hacker said wryly, as she didn't believe in the entire operation from the start. The geek took out a parabolic microphone to try and eavesdrop into the building, while excitedly saying, if she is really meeting with the supplier, we will have the necessary requirement to continue investigating the case. Hey! She's coming out now. The hacker said, cutting off the geek's sentence. What happened? Did the deal fall off? Ryan Reynolds lookalike asked hurriedly. I don't know. I was too late. The geek said in frustration. Go infiltrate the warehouse, and find out what happened there. Mira, find out all you can about her. And for me, the Ryan Reynolds lookalike combed his hair and used his finger to neaten his eyebrows. I'll seduce her. Mira rolled her eyes at her team leader while digging out everything the FBI got on Camila and the rest of Jace Pritchett's family. What actually happened inside the warehouse? Is it here? Camila asked in excitement as she met with Flacco. Yeah. It's here. Flacco said before revealing a rare car muffler that Camila had been looking for a long time now. She grinned and rubbed her cheek on the cold metallic coating of the muffler. Then, she threw a couple thousands of dollars to Flacco and said, I won't go to the race today. I know. I know. You want to enjoy putting this beast together, huh? Flacco said as he admired Camila's car. However, Camila smiled softly and said, no. I won't be doing that. Flacco was shocked to his bone, and almost fell to the ground. Really? You won't? Camila, the mad racer, won't? Shut up. I need to go be with my nephew. Camila said as she packed the muffler into her car. Also, I'd quit street racing for years now. I see. Too bad. I wanted to see the beast in his prime. Flacco said as he rubbed the engine hood in longing. Call me if you find the engine. Camila reminded before she drove away to get back to Ed's house. After a few hours round trip, it was almost 4 a.m. when she arrived back in the town. Inside Ed's room, Haley was flabbergasted when she wanted to sneak out of the house, only to find out that her escape route had fallen. Ed's dad comes back at 7 a.m., so I will just go back home at 6. She thought before she slept next to Ed as his body heat while being in his embrace kept making her sleepy. When Camila returned to the house, she went to check on Ed in his room as she wanted to see if he wasn't sleeping. That was also the main reason why she returned home, otherwise she would just sleep in a hotel nearby, or stay together with Flacco for the night. Flacco was her friend since she was 18, so she trusted him a lot. What the dash, she exclaimed as she saw Ed was sleeping with a girl on the same bed together. But as she saw his peaceful sleeping face, she came to a realization and closed the door slowly before entering the guest room. The room used to be a storeroom before, and Ed had prepared it to be her place as it was harsh on Ted if she kept stealing his bed. Of course, Ed used professional service on the cleaning as he was too busy to do it on his own. Edward POV. I woke up at almost 7 a.m. today, and found out that Haley was no longer next to me. When did she go back? I muttered groggily as I haven't gotten a non-interrupted sleep like that for more than a month now, since I got my memories back. 24 hours left, before the singles release. Ugh, I said to make myself feel better. The singles would be released at midnight, therefore I actually have less than 17 hours to decide if I wanted to change the song. Guess I won't be going to school today, I muttered as I walked to the kitchen to have some breakfast. Fast forward to the afternoon, and I still haven't come out with a decision. Ding dong asterisk. Ed. We're here. Cam knocked on the door before giving Lily to me the second I opened it. He barged into the house with his keyboard, and set up the instrument in the living room. You know I have my own synthesizer, right? I asked him. No. This one's for me. Cam said and looked at me as if I had just asked a dumb question. I was stunned and couldn't even argue with him next before we jammed to a few songs together. He asked, Your theme is love and heartbreak, right? Yeah. I replied. I can think of several songs to replace it, and bleed the studio dry. Harvey is drawing up a few contracts to make sure I will receive a cut from the box office, and he promised me he can bump my numbers from 2.2% to 7.5% if I let her handle it. Of course, it all depends on whether I'll push back the song release or not. I see. Cam said and went silent after. He only knows the surface knowledge of Hollywood, therefore he wanted to avoid giving me bad advice. What songs have you prepared? He asked as he stopped playing the piano. I was still holding the guitar, and I said, well, one of them is named, Treat You Better. Why don't you play it, and I'll give my opinion after. Wait, Haley will be back from school in 10 minutes. Why don't we call her here too? Sure. I agreed without thinking much. Cam's commentary. As much as I liked the idea of him dating Taylor, I didn't find any evidence to support that theory. So, if Haley really likes him, then I'll try to help them be together. Although he tried to be nice about it, his face broke down and he started to sob. I'm sorry. I thought I could be okay with this, but I'm not. He kept crying before he ran away from the camera screen. The #1 edX Taylor shipper was heartbroken when he finally accepted the reality that the two artists couldn't be together. Commentary ends. We had lunch first as we waited for Haley. She then arrived together with Abby and Tara as they were there when Kim called her before this. Ed. You'll push back the release? Will you have time to record a new song? Abby asked. If I want to push it back, Pepper said he'll just rent a nearby studio instead of going to our studio in the desert. As long as I record it within 3 hours of the release, then it'll be fine. I was confident that I could edit the song in that time as long as there weren't any complications with the machines. It was just an audio release for now, and music video production will be considered after seeing the people's reaction. Well then, we shouldn't waste time anymore. Haley said before she dragged Abby away from me and sat together with Tara on the couch. We'll help you judge whether the song can replace it or not. She added with a cute face. Sure. This is one of the options. Treat You Better. I picked the guitar strings as I slowly played the melody. The beginning of the song was already addictive, and the girls couldn't help but felt excited as they were the first people in the world that could listen to it.
I won't lie to you. I know he's just not right for you. And you could tell me if I'm off, but I see it on your face when you say that he's the one that you want. And you're spending all your time in this wrong situation, and anytime you want it to stop.
Cam gasped with widened eyes. Cam's commentary. He took off the monthly gossip magazine of February edition that showed an article about how Taylor was badly treated by her previous ex-boyfriend, one of the Jonas brothers, Jose Jonah. The article even mentioned that he allegedly broke up with her over text. I knew it. He said in excitement as he took the song's meaning the wrong way. He likes her. We still have a chance, exclaimed the Tayward shipper. Commentary ends.
I know I can treat you better than he can, and any girl like you deserves a gentleman. Tell me, why are we wasting time on all your wasted crown when you should be with me instead? I know I can treat you better
I stopped after the first verse as I wanted to play some other songs too, but the group was looking at me in disbelief. Why the hell are you stopping? Continue. Abby demanded, and the others agreed with her. Stunned, I nodded and said, "Oh, okay."
I'll stop time for you. The second you say you'd like me to.
The girls plus Kim squealed as the song directly touched their teenagers or teenage-like sentiment, and they couldn't help but fall deeper into my charms.
I just wanna give you the loving that you're missing, baby, just to wake up with you.
Haley gulped her saliva as she looked around guiltily.
Will be everything I need, and this could be so different. Tell me what you want to do.
Damn. I'm falling for him, Tara said while biting her lips. No. Abby and Haley admonished her at the same time. I laughed as I could hear the girls' conversation and continued with the chorus.
'Cause I know I can treat you better than he can, and any girl like you deserves a gentleman. Tell me, why are we wasting time on all your wasted crime when you should be with me instead? I know I can treat you better, better than he can, better than he can.
This is it. He needs to release this one, Cam said as he sincerely hoped that Taylor would hear this song. He directly called Pepper to notify him about the song.
Give me a sign, take my hand, we'll be fine. Promise I won't let you down. Just know that you don't have to do this alone. Promise I'll never let you down.
Finally, I reached the last chorus verse. At this moment, all three girls were propping their chin with their hand as they leaned in to watch me while looking at me with swoon eyes.
'Cause I know I can treat you better than he can, and any girl like you deserves a gentleman. Tell me, why are we wasting time on all your wasted grind when you should be with me instead? I know I can treat you better, better than he can. Oh, better than he can, better than he can.
I ended the song and asked them, "So, what do you think?" Tara said, "It's 1,000 times better than the previous one. I mean, I can't even remember the song dash. 2 is better than 1. Abby helped her. Yeah. That. Tara nodded slightly to thank Abby. Sue, which girls did you write this song for? Haley asked. No, I just created this one as it suits the theme, I said while avoiding their eyes. Next song is Dash. Cam interrupted before I could continue playing. Ed, you don't have much time left. We can all agree that this song is great, right? Totally. The girls supported Cam at the same time. Abby and Haley were elated as they didn't like the previous song as it featured another girl, but they didn't share that feeling with the others. Cam nodded and said, "Now, you have the song replacement, so why don't we move to a studio to record it? It's to see if you can finish the editing before the release. That way, you can think about it clearly, and you won't feel rushed to make a decision." You think so? I asked. I know so. I already called Pepper after the chorus. I laughed a bit and said, "Okay. We'll record it first. Girls, do you want to come with me?" Yes. They replied at the same time. Chapter 78, Relying on a Vote. I hitched a ride with Abby while the rest of the group was riding with Cam as they had no excuse to cram the car with him going in the same direction. They looked at me with puppy dog eyes, but my comfort mattered more than their enjoyment. I talked to my mom about it. Abby said as she stole a glance at me while driving. Talk about what? I asked in a casual tone. About our topic last night. I realized a few things afterward. I was really unfair to you before. Well, that's nice to hear, but I don't blame you for it. Abby smiled and said, good dash. I blame your dad. I said, interrupting her. She giggled and slowly reached out her left hand before touching my hand with it. I just let her do that, and she looked me in the eyes and said, thank you, Ed, seriously. It was only a short drive to the tiny music studio Pepper rented, so we couldn't actually get deep in our conversations. I nodded my head while she gave me one last squeeze before releasing my hands. As she was parking the car, she hesitated and asked with a tiny voice, if possible, could I be your dash? Ed. Pepper shouted for me the second the car was put in park. I waved at him to make him wait there before turning to Abby. Sorry. What were you saying? And never mind. Abby said with a stutter before we both walked to the studio. Abby's POV. How dumb was it for me to actually want to ask him to be my boyfriend, right here, while he was already troubled by his song's release dilemma? I nodded at Pepper as I saw him, and thanked him in my heart as his shout had helped me avoid making a huge fool of myself. That last song was nice, but I kept wondering what other options he had in mind. I hate Haley's uncle for making us change spots, but it made sense as he needed to release the songs in just a few more hours. He didn't have much time now. I couldn't help but feel worried for him. Can't someone else take the burden? I thought while watching his every move as we all entered the music studio. Edward POV. Ed. I wouldn't want to rush you, but, Pepper said as he glanced at the wall clock. The time was almost 4 p.m., and the entire company was working overtime to handle the marketing for the new singles. However, it was hard for them to do so without the name of the latest track. We're promoting that one as a mystery, right? I said to Pepper. Yeah. We followed your plans, and to be honest, the reaction from the younger generations is great, but the older ones. It doesn't matter much as long as we do release it afterward. I said dismissively. Some loudmouths and no-substance critics had been barking around, trying to damage your debut. I let Harvey handle all of the ramifications, but it looked like Dash. Like someone was manipulating everything from behind. You got that right. I said as I knew for sure who the mastermind was. It was the same person who tried to get dirt on me before. Through some intense digging, I managed to track down the breadcrumbs to the vice director of Taylor's agency. His motive in doing so was to undermine Pepper's agency and ruin my debut to make their agency come in to the rescue and use their connections to make themselves look more impressive in my eyes. Too bad for them though. I'm not a naive kid. I said as I tapped my iPhone keyboard and sent a few emails to the press and the authorities. They contained the details of a few entrapment cases and sexual misconduct that could be used to file charges against the vice director and basically end his career, but I still couldn't touch other core members of the agency just yet since they'd made sure to keep their own hands clean from this whole situation, dumping all the blame on their chosen pawn. At the very least, I can take out one of my enemies. I got to look out for myself more. I thought. Pepper, do you want to hear the song I played before? I said as I relied on Pepper's opinion more compared to the others inside the cramped studio. After all, he was the one with the connections in the music industry. I regretted my decision to invite the girls a little, as the studio was only as big as my living room. But I appreciated their support even more since I really needed it right now. I played the song for Pepper, and his reaction was a bit different from Cam and the others. It felt a bit weird. Like you're an obsessive guy, only hanging out with the girls just to swoop in when her relationship crashes and burns. That's specific. But I understand what you are talking about. I do have a few more songs in mind. Let's hear it all. I don't think it'll take more than an hour, right? It won't. It'll barely take 15 minutes. I said as I reached for a bottle of water. Don't strain your voice. If we actually do change the released song, then we're going to need you to be in tip-top shape. I'll be fine. It'll hardly chip at my stamina. I said cockily, but my expression betrayed me. Pepper understood and sighed. Just keep that in mind. Thanks, Paps. As I picked up the guitar again, I saw the girls were whistling and applauding my performance. Cam, however, was feeling a bit dissatisfied as he wanted me to continue with the first song, but Pepper smacked his arm and said, "Don't pick the first choice without hearing the others. It's the same as outfits. But I guess, your opinion, and your taste in clothes, was always like that, huh?" Rushed without thought. Pepper then whispered, "I guess that's why all your shirts look tacky." Cam was stunned and angry soon after as he was offended by Pepper's words. I firmly believe in my natural, illuminating, charismatic, and excellent taste. So I wouldn't change my mind at all. I still think that the first song should be released today. Illuminating? Yeah, right. What are you? A light bulb? It means I light up the room when I walk in. You know what? Just wait till I can rub it in your face about this. Rub it over and over and over dash. That's too much, Cam. For God's sake, we have children here. Pepper said, causing Cam to freak out. Luckily for him, Pepper was just teasing. The others had absolutely no interest in their conversation as I was going to start playing. Fast forward another hour, we were now knee-deep in debate about the song's selection. Cam, however, almost passed out when he heard my final song, and Haley needed to fan his face to make sure he didn't lose consciousness. Don't be so dramatic. It isn't the time. Pepper said while purposely slapped the paper on Haley's hand to smack Cam's face as he walked past them. I got Harvey on the line. She'll listen to the conversation. Pepper said as he finally reached my spot. So, among the 4 choices, I think we can eliminate 2 of them, as they didn't meet the theme requirement. Harvey said using a calm tone as she tried to be as rational as possible in the matter. And the other song, did you make it about Taylor? The lawyer asked in a concerned voice. If you did, I need to know about it to make some preparations just in case someone gets funny ideas. She added. It's not about her. I said in a dismissive tone. Pepper was concerned and he asked, then, did you make the song, on purpose, for a marketing strategy? If that's true, then that's genius, but are you really going to manipulate someone's feelings like that? You are really close with her, am I not right? I can just change it to treat you better if you guys feel this way. And if I need to confess, then yes, I did make it as a part of a strategy. We were supposed to use 2 as better than 1 to attract the listeners and, most importantly, to prop up the rumors and chatter in order to build up hype over our upcoming collaboration project. After all, that pairs us up with a huge label and we need that to be a hit so we can make a name for ourselves, since it's going to need a big budget on our part with 2 music videos, as well as the funds to meet our minimum participation in the marketing budget. But now, Pepper nodded in understanding and Harvey went silent. The lawyer said soon after, Ed, even your YouTube videos are viral. And that was an amateur production through and through. You don't have to worry about it. If you want to release the song, then do it, but don't do it because you want to use Taylor or you have to meet a deadline. Do it because you truly believe in that song. I guess I agree with Harvey on this one. You don't have to be worried. Like I said, you're a superstar. I already know that your singles will be successful. Pepper said with one hand holding my shoulder. As I was getting swayed by the adult's words, suddenly Haley and Abby interjected, Nah, that song isn't that great. Really? I asked as I turned to look at them. Should I just release Treat You Better? Haley opened her mouth to answer, but her guilty conscience stopped her from doing so. She didn't like the lyrics of the song, as she knew it was about Taylor, but should she really sabotage his future just because she was jealous? Abby thought the same way, and both of them turned toward each other. Harvey asked hurriedly. Ed, does this mean you're accepting the studio's request? You're not releasing 2 as better than 1 right now? I realized that I still haven't given my confirmation, and I turned to look at the clock. It was almost 6 p.m., and I still haven't made the edit yet. I want to, for money reasons. I said to the phone. Harvey said, I know. Ka-ching. She was at the studio building right now, trying to finalize the terms of the contract if I push back the release for the song. The studio was willing to let go of the box office cut my agency requested, as the first vampire movie only earned them $400 million in the worldwide box office, and they didn't have much confidence on the second movie given the uncertainty of sequels and the flimsy market teenage entertainment presented. However, I knew that it would reach over $700 million at the international box office, therefore I was taking all I could get from the movie, as the executives there were pissing me off. By the way, I managed to drag the percentage to 6.9, but they aren't budging much after that. I thought a bit and said, but what if I don't give them an answer until almost midnight? Could you use that to pressure them? Harvey chortled and said, nice idea, kid. But if you don't have a replacement song, it'll just be a waste of my effort. So finalize the decision first. Can I Be Him, or Treat You Better? I was torn between the two songs, and Cam suddenly stood back up as if he was never fainting before, and walked towards us. You may feel indecisive about it, but let's take a look at this thing as a whole. The other song, Grenade, and the other one Dash. Me and My Broken Heart. Haley helped. Yeah. That. Cam said as he prepared his debate. Theme-wise, Can I Be Him is more compatible with them than Treat You Better. Grenade gives the vibes of a broken man, Me and My Broken Heart made it that you're healing, but Treat You Better is about friendzone Dash. Same as Can I Be Him. Both songs are similar. Pepper said, causing Cam to lose his momentum. Cam cleared his throat and said, but the other one, it suits Ed's theme more. The mature kid theme. Ah! Pepper exclaimed in realization. The lyrics were more mature, his vibes weren't clingy, and most important of all, Can I Be Him? Taylor, wait. No, sorry, spiraling. Cam giggled and then rearranged his sentence. If we put it to a vote, then I will put mine on Can I Be Him. Definitely. That's a nice idea. Why don't we put it on a vote? I said as I turned to Pepper, which one? Can I Be Him? Pepper voted. I turned to Haley, and she said, Treat You Better. Abby was torn, but then she followed Haley's vote. Harvey abstained from voting as she needed to be the rational one in the discussion. Damn it. A tie then. So the vote is useless. Pepper said angrily. Suddenly, Leo, the sound engineer who was supposed to be in the desert studio, popped out of nowhere and said, Can I Be Him? All of us were shocked by his sudden appearance, but he only bit his sandwich and walked past us without saying anything else. Holy, what just happened? I exclaimed as I was incredibly puzzled by the development. Who cares? Now it's 3-2. Can I Be Him, 1? Cam said with a wide grin on his face. /N, after sleeping on it, I think that song fits more with his vibes rather than Treat You Better. Before I finalized the decision, I called Taylor secretly to talk to her about it. Hey! What are you doing now? I asked as the call was picked up. Getting dressed. I just walked out of the shower. I'm not wearing anything Dash. Stop it, skank. Another voice, Selena, stopped her from going further as Taylor was currently in a shared space. She was currently in Ohio as part of her Fearless tour, and Selena would be her guest in the concert she had tomorrow. That's nice. Anyway, I need to talk to you about something. I said with a solemn tone. What's the matter? Taylor realized that it was an important topic, therefore she didn't tease me anymore and turned serious too. Is this about 2 is better than 1? I told you not to care about the studio. If they really want the song, then they'll take it, even after you've released it. Don't cater to them. They asked at the last minute, it was their own fault. I actually managed to pick a replacement song. And I'm currently negotiating about the cut I'll get if I push back the release. Harvey is making them bleed, and I like that more than to just ignore them. Taylor chuckled and said seductively, you bad boy. I shrugged and said, anyway, about the replacement song. There's a high chance that people will think it is about you. What do you mean? Taylor asked, her tone becoming increasingly excited. You're not mad? I asked in confusion. No. Taylor exclaimed in excitement. I feel honored that you think about me so much Dash. It's not about you. It just seems that way. I'm currently occupying most of your mind, that you can only make songs about me dash. Listen here Taylor dash. Ah. I'm so happy right now. I could even dance. Taylor and I chuckled together before she took a deep breath and turned serious again. I don't mind. Do it. Thank you Taylor. I said sincerely. If you want to thank me, why don't we go on a date this Friday after the recording? I thought about it and said, how about this? I'm an excellent cook. So, wanna come to my place for dinner? It was the safest option given that the paparazzi were continuously stalking the teenage pop star. Wait. You're going to cook, for me? She giggled hard afterward and said after collecting herself, sure. But it won't be just the two of us. Ah. Taylor exclaimed in disappointment. Then I'm bringing my friend with me. Sure. Just text me how many the day before so I can prepare the food. We talked for a while and I confirmed multiple times that she was okay with it. However, she didn't want to hear the song before I released it, and wanted to feel the same excitement that the rest of my fans would. Okay, anyway, I need to go. I've been standing naked in the middle of the room for 10 minutes now. That's not a joke? Nope. Taylor said before ending the call abruptly. Damn. I muttered before I returned to the room. That image is going to stick with me. It was an hour till midnight, and I was working hard to edit the song. With Leo popping out of nowhere, it was easy for me to finalize the song, and I was currently making a lyric video for the song. Why is it so easy for you to do this? Do you know how long it takes for a normal person to create a lyric video? Cam said as he viewed me as an abnormal monster for actually managing to finish the edit. I had prepared a few templates for the music video, and my algorithms managed to cut off the time needed for me to finish the edit. The song lyrics were on the same level as the previous lyric video from my previous life, making those who watched it for the first time feel the freshness of the idea. Although YouTube pays less than the other exclusive sites, it was an investment for the future, as I know digital platforms will bring out massive success soon. Pepper walked by and notified me, Ed. They are prepared to give you a 7.7% cut. So should we proceed? Yeah. You can tell them we're pushing back the song release. I'm going to upload the video to our official YouTube channel, and I have already sent an email to the publishers containing the singles. My. Are you even adding secretary to your list of jobs? Pepper teased. I just smiled and got back to my work. Haley entered the room with a glass of lemonade and handed it over to me. However, I drank it through the straw while she was still holding it. She was in disbelief, but she didn't pull her hand away. Thank you. I said. Ugh. She exclaimed and huffed away. Damn. She's really disappointed about the song, huh? I muttered to myself. The clock almost strikes midnight, and all of the preparation is done. I sat on the couch while shaking my legs as I waited for the songs to be released. Nervous? Abby asked. Excited, I replied. But also a bit nervous. She smiled and said, Want me to give you a massage? Sure. That'll be great. She walked behind me and was massaging my shoulders as I tried to relax myself. Haley rolled her eyes at us before saying, The fan club is ready. They'll help you to spam views after you upload the videos. Did Lily say anything after hearing the song? I asked in concern as my fan club president had gone silent after I sent her the song copy an hour ago. Haley looked at me as if I was dumb, and said she got too excited and had a nosebleed. She was the one who rallied the fan club members, not me. Ah. I see. The clock finally struck 12, and the songs were released to the public. Let's hope everything goes well. Chapter 79, Singles Released. Third-person POV. Ed's fan club leader bedroom. It's out. Lily exclaimed in excitement as she bought all of the songs and opened the YouTube video to spam views to help Edward. She has 4 open laptops in front of her that would help her in her ventures today. She also bought all of the digital copies of the songs the second it was released on iTunes. After setting up for getting the views, she clicked on the Grenade music video for real this time, and watched it properly instead of running it in the background. The scene finally showed the player Ed, and Lily bit her lower lips and repeated the scene over and over again. Damn it! She cursed softly as she realized she had fallen for the player. After leaving a comment, she realized that she was late in commenting as the video already collected more than 1,000 comments in less than 10 minutes of being published. Most of them were discussing the player Ed though. Can't really blame them. She muttered to herself before biting her lower lips. Then she listened to the other new song, Can I Be Him Instead of Me and My Broken Heart, as she had listened to that song in the concert before. Taylor's hotel room. Kaya Taylor screamed in excitement like a little girl as she heard Ed's new songs while wearing headphones. What the hell is wrong with you? Selena asked with widened eyes as Taylor had suddenly started screaming. She was checking out the Grenade music video and had her headphones on, but Taylor's scream startled her greatly. Taylor took off her headphones and her face blushed red. She turned to Selena and said, "He's crazy." Ha ha ha. I love it. Love what? His song. That's why he said he wrote it for me. Taylor muttered in realization. Did he? Selena said as she bought the song quickly to hear it. It cost her $0.99 on iTunes, and when she checked the downloads, it had already been downloaded more than 10,000 times in less than 10 minutes. He said no, but I know now, for sure he was pretending. OHH, I'm so happy I could die now. Taylor said as she lay on the bed to indulge in the special feeling. She laid on her stomach and swayed her legs as she gleefully downloaded Ed's drippy poster and made it her phone wallpaper. Selena rolled her eyes at her friend before listening to the song by herself. She clicked play on the iTunes download, and wore her headphones again. Can I Be Him, James Arthur?
You walked into the room and now my heart's been stolen.
Selena exclaimed, "Oh damn." She swayed to the music and listened to the lyrics intently now. His deep and velvety voice transported her, and she quickly became a fan of him. His vocal changes in every song had greatly shocked Selena, and she admired his skills in manipulating his voice.
You took me back in time to when I was unbroken. Now you're all I want, and I knew it from the very first moment. 'Cause the light came on when I heard that song, and I want you to sing it again.
Taylor grinned widely and sent a text to Ed about the matter, continuously teasing him about the lyric. Taylor, you like me. Ed, not about you. Taylor, you lovey me. Ed, sigh dot emoji. Chorus.
I swear that every word you sing, you wrote them for me.
This was the part that made Kim faint before this. The country farm boy felt that his fantasy had come true. He even used an app to merge Ed's and Taylor's faces together to see how their babies would look when he got home.
Like it was a private show, I know you never saw me. When the lights come on and I'm on my own, will you be there to sing it again? Could I be the one you talk about in all your stories? Can I be him?
Selena blushed hard from the lyric and was amazed by Ed's skillful vocal manipulation. As she enjoyed the song, she kicked the squirming Taylor from the bed, making her fall down to the floor. What was that for? Taylor asked while rubbing her sore legs. I'm jealous. She muttered as she wanted someone to make her feel special too. Taylor's fan club chat, /n, Swift ***s. Bad boy Ed, he's confessing, right? I knew Taylor and him were dating.
I heard there was someone, but I know he don't deserve you. If you were mine, I'd never let anyone hurt you. No, no. I wanna dry those tears, kiss those lips. It's all I've been thinking about. 'Cause the light came on when I heard that song, and I want to sing it again.
Lily, definitely. She chuckled at the lyrics, and the Tadeward shippers were having a field day with the song. Seems that a lot of us won't go to sleep tonight. Lily muttered to herself. The theories about H0W Edward came to fall in love with Taylor filled the group chat, and the fans were going crazy by making up impossible scenarios such as Taylor was there when Edward was born or Ed grew up in the same countryside as her. Chorus.
I swear that every word you say, you wrote them for me. Like it was a private show, but I know you never saw me. When the lights come on and I'm on my own, will you be there to sing it again? Could I be the one you talk about in all your stories?
Dunphy's house. Although it was midnight, none of the house members had gone to sleep right now. Oh my God. Claire muttered. She gave him a private show? I knew it. Phil would have rolled his eyes at Claire if he wasn't losing himself in the songs right now. While talking loudly, Phil said, "Honey, the song is so good." Alex nodded to Phil's words. Although the song was great, she felt jealous of Haley as she could follow him to the studio while she could only listen to the song by buying it in the iTunes store. He's going to pay for this. Alex vowed internally before getting back to hearing the songs while reading her books at the same time.
Can I be the one? Can I be the one? Can I be the one? Oh, can I be him?
Ed played with his voice skillfully as he sang the bridge, making Alex have goosebumps. But then, Phil tried to sing the same way as Ed does behind her, making her angry and shooting a glare at her dad. Phil flinched and walked away quickly before Alex exploded in anger. Jay's house. Manny, can you please stop the caterwauling? Jay said in agony as Manny kept singing at midnight. Sorry, I just want to practice this song to sing to Alicia tomorrow. Manny replied. Gloria was confused and asked, Songs? Yeah. He just released it. Great. Let's go look. Here. Manny corrected his mom. Refrain.
Won't you sing it again? Or when you sing it again, can I be here? Or sing it again? Or when you sing it again, can I be here?
Gloria smiled widely and said to Jay, Why can't you be that romantic? Maybe because I'm not a teenager anymore. Jay retorted before turning his back against Gloria and walked away. Damn it, kid. Now I'm in trouble. Jay thought to himself. Chorus.
I swear that every word you say, you wrote it for me. Like it was a private show, but I know you never saw me. When the lights come on and I'm on my own, will you be there? Will you be there? Can I be the one you talk about in all your stories? Can I be him? Can I be him? Can I be him? Can I be him?
Jenna's house. Jenna listened to the song with a complicated expression on her face. As she took off her headphones, suddenly her mom walked into the room. Alexandria Carlson, the ex-Playboy model and now a D-list actress, was wearing a satin white robe with a short skirt. Her chest was bare, and her frilly white bra could be seen. She had blonde, curly hair, and her curvaceous figure would make all the men whom she invited to the house drool as they took a look at her. She sat next to her daughter and asked, "Is the Ed Newgate you always talk about the same Ed that just released the songs?" "Yes," Jenna answered without thinking much. Alexandria paused and asked, "How is your relationship with him?" "He's my friend." "Good, very good," Alexandria mumbled to herself as she watched Penny's scene in the Grenade music video. She saw that her acting was mediocre, therefore she suspected that Penny had provided some service to the singer in exchange for the job. It wasn't something that she hated, but she felt as if she had lost an opportunity instead. If only I listened to Jenna's story properly, she thought. "Why don't you invite him here? I want to meet him," she asked. Jenna narrowed her eyes at her mother, but she had no change in her expression, making Jenna feel that her request was a genuine one. "Why?" she asked to get confirmation. "I'm just his fan," Alexandria said while licking her lips. "Taylor's room. He's outstanding. I can't wait for Friday," Selena muttered. Taylor looked at her in dissatisfaction and warned her, "Don't seduce him. He's mine." Selena rolled her eyes and said, "It makes much more sense for him to be with me. We're around the same age, you know? E/N, 14 and 16, 17 in July the 22nd, lol, but still closer than Taylor's 19. No, Taylor said and pounced on Selena on the bed before tickling her till she gave up on her intentions with Ed. "Maybe I can make a response song for him," Taylor thought as she finally won in her battle with her best friend. Back at the studio, Abby and Haley hugged Ed to congratulate him for a successful debut before they returned home with Cam and Tara as it was almost 1 a.m. Luckily Claire understood that Haley was with Cam and her intention of going there was only for supporting Ed, so she didn't freak out or try to track her phone. Edward POV. Should I just hack YouTube and increase the views by 100 million? I shouldn't, right? I muttered to myself with a wide grin on my face as I watched the worldwide reaction to my songs. Of course, I was just joking. Or am I? Despite not fixing the views, I did however hack the recommended list of the YouTube users and iTunes algorithms so that it would boost my songs and music videos. In PewDiePie's fight against T-Series, the Blue Clothes Boy said that whenever a user in India registered with the internet, they'll be bombarded by T-Series' videos in the front page. Therefore, the company's subscribers climbed up like mad. I was just doing the same thing, I muttered as I saw my subscribers count quickly breached 1 million. Will I get a plaque from YouTube afterward? Ed, what are you doing here all alone? Let's go home, Pepper said after he caught me grinning while reading a few articles about my debut. Despite the clock being almost 3 a.m., the debut hype still hasn't died down yet. In fact, it rose up even more as the international community joined the fray. Okay, I replied happily before approaching him. Pepper grinned and said, Ed, what do you think about this year's Best New Artist Grammy Award? Unless I can beat Adele, I won't get it, I muttered casually as I referred to my previous life memory. Pepper was stunned and opened his mouth a few times, but no words came out. Calm down. I know that you're a fan of Adele. I'm a fan too, I said with a mischievous smile. Pepper paused for a bit as he fell into a deep thought before saying, no. I think you'll get the award. Wait, I'm sure of it. E/N, his vocals were unique. After all, he can be a powerful velvety baritone but still just as easily sing like a fucking light lyric tenor, Bruno Mars, and kill falsettos that would be Adam Levine's signature high notes or even Charlie Puth and presumably even Zayn, has a song with Taylor and hits very high notes. So you have a singer that can go all over different vocal ranges as well as an expert musician playing piano, violin, cello, and everything else. According to his previous bio as a childhood prodigy and to the eyes of the world, he is an unprecedented genius since he wrote his whole 10+, at least what should be known for now, since he actually has more than 18/20 songs. By himself. Remember, he thought the band their part too. That means he is not creating a melody and a lyric and leaving pro pianists or bassists or drummers to adapt and complement his work. No, he is actually just coming up with all that himself. Trust me, that will blow up everyone's minds. It wouldn't surprise me if even Taylor thinks he does that for most of his songs. No shared writing credits or separate beats added on, but just his own hand and mind, at least to everyone else alive or dead in the world. LOL, I mean, it will not even be a contest. P.S. You know what falsettos are, right? That means singing overly high notes. Usually tenors do this. Yeah. Let's go home. I muttered dismissively and walked ahead of Pepper to get to the car. After Pepper entered the car, he said, "By the way, the meeting tomorrow will be postponed. So, you have to go to school." I looked at him with a horrified expression and said, "Are you crazy?" He smirked and said, "Why? Afraid that you'll be surrounded by your fans?" "Of course," I said before both of us laughed together. Pepper turned solemn afterward and said, "Ed, if you want to continue being an artist, maybe public school wasn't the right choice for it. What do you think about going to a private school? I can get you into Dryden Academy. It'll be far better than going to Palisades, both in safety and quality of education." I remember Dryden Academy from the series. It was a private school for the elite, and only the richest of the rich could go there. Manny tried to apply there, but he botched the interview for it. I don't know. I'll leave that thinking for the future. For now, I just want to enjoy this feeling of happiness and avoid things that could make it go away. Pepper smiled and said, "Oh. And the studio also asked if you want to be cast in the Twilight movie as one of the wolves dash. And now the feeling has gone away." I muttered. Bonus reaction. 2231, Los Robles Avenue Building, Apartment 4A. Penny was watching the music video on the big screen TV inside the apartment with four male geeks. Sheldon Cooper didn't know how to properly react as he watched the music video. He kept glancing at Leonard and Penny for them to show him the way he needed to react. Leonard Hofstadter scrunched his eyebrows as he saw Penny's make-out scene with the successful artist. "Oh, that can't be good for you." Howard teased Leonard with a slight chuckle. "Can't be good for what?" Penny asked as she didn't hear what Howard said properly. Howard decided to change the topic for Leonard's sake and say, "Can't be good for the artist. Now, he'll be drowning in women. He's going to be the most popular kid in high school now, sigh, and living the life." Penny was disgusted, and it showed on her face. Also made Sheldon shut up and made out with Penny. "Yeah, he's my idol now," Howard muttered. Rajesh whispered to Howard's ear as he still couldn't speak in front of Penny. Howard flinched as he did it abruptly before snapping, "Yeah, I know, I played in high school too." "You can't compare us. Did you see what he looks like? Even at 14 he's taller than me." Sheldon interjected, "To be fair, he's not the only 14-year-old who's taller than you." Penny and Leonard laughed out loud and Rajesh only laughed with only his expressions. Leonard calmed down and said, "He's a nice kid. I'm happy for him." "Nice? He's pompous and rude," Sheldon retorted. "No. He just can notice a crazy person before he was trapped in a long-term relationship with one," Howard added, making Rajesh laugh. Sheldon was unamused and he waited till the laughter died down before saying, "I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested. And I really want to see the doctor's report," Penny added, causing laughter again. Suddenly, her phone rang and she excitedly stood up from the sofa to pick it up. "It's my dad. This means all my family has already watched it," Penny said before biting her tongue cheekily and ran out of the apartment to get to her own apartment right in front of Leonard's apartment. Rajesh could finally speak after Penny was gone. He turned to Leonard and said with an Indian accent, "Now that he's famous, will he still remember you?" "Of course he will," Leonard answered after hesitating. "In fact, I will text him right now." Edward POV. I wore a mask and a baseball cap today before going to school. As Abby dropped me off, there was a crowd of photographers camping in front of the school trying to get a picture of me as my explosive debut was currently the hottest topic to talk about in the entire country. The Grenade music video had broken the record for the fastest YouTube video to reach 1 million views, and several radio and media entertainment companies had shown interest in me and the agency. It'll be tough from now on, I thought as I stealthily snuck into the school by walking by with a group of ordinary-looking kids. Many kids asked for my autograph, a picture with me, and even my used underpants, making the hallways turn to chaos by the time I reached my locker. Ed, I want to be in a music video too, Barnes yelled out before he got pushed to the side. Even Alex was startled when she saw the crowd gathering around me. The commotion gained the interest of the teachers, and the school bell rang at the same time. However, none of the kids wanted to let me go before getting what they wanted. Mrs. Henderson walked to the crowd and said, "Enough. All of you. Go to class right now. Those who don't will be put in detention." Her ice-cold tone made the kids shudder and the crowd parted like the Red Sea as she walked towards me. "I believe congratulations are in order, Mr. Newgate," Mrs. Henderson said with a soft smile before adding, "Why aren't you getting to class? Do you want to get detention?" I gulped my saliva and said, I am going now." I let out a sigh of relief as I entered the class. Finally. Some peace. I sat next to Jacob as usual, but I was shocked as I saw his face. He had deep eye bags and his cheeks were hollow. "What the hell happened to you?" I asked with a low tone as the class was currently in session. "I broke up with Elsa," Jacob replied before he sobbed and wailed, startling the old teacher who was writing on the board. Greatly shocked, I asked, "How the hell did that happen?" While still crying, he turned to me and said, S0B, grats, on your singles, sub, release dash." Before he could finish, he cried loudly once more, annoying the teacher in front. Chapter 80, A Milestone. Edward POV. It was finally lunchtime. I sneaked with Jacob to the library as my fans were still crowding the hallways and the cafeteria, searching menacingly to find out where I was. "So, what happened?" I asked Jacob after he calmed down. "We were hiding behind the racks at the science and history section. It was my safe zone in the school as there weren't any students that would go there willingly. I got the information from Alex, who also used this spot as a means of escape from everything else. I messed up," Jacob said with his chin quivering. "What did you do?" I asked him again using a calm tone. Jacob finally revealed the reason Elsa had ended the relationship with him. Flashback. After Aunt Camila caught Elsa and him making out in one of Jay's toilets, she apparently lectured them about their future, in which Jacob tried to defend their relationship by saying, "I'm going to be a successful football player, and Elsa will support me at my side." Elsa raised an eyebrow at this and asked, "What am I doing at your side?" "I don't know. Being a housewife, I guess," Jacob replied without thinking much. Flashback ends. I narrowed my eyes on Jacob and said, "You're a special kind of stupid, aren't you?" He broke into tears again and hid his face behind his hands as he sobbed. I sighed as I thought about why Elsa broke up with him. The girl, albeit born in a struggling family, had a major sense of pride and refused to take handouts from others. Imagine how offended she was when her boyfriend wanted her to just stay home and be a housewife. Her entire life she had admired her mother for working hard to support their family after her dad died. Her dad went to buy milk one day and was shot by a robber because he tried to help the store owner. It was a tragic story for Elsa's family, as her dad was a rare good policeman and a better father. "You know what you did wrong?" I asked him after he calmed down a bit. "Elsa doesn't want to be a housewife?" Jacob asked in confusion. He had seen how happy his mother was in their home, therefore he thought that the best life he could give someone he loved was to make them a housewife too. It was a classic two-way misunderstanding by each of them. I sighed and I said, "She won't be offended if you express yourself better. She just doesn't want you to control her life. Believe me, Elsa is a stubborn and prideful girl. She wanted to do everything on her own. Maybe you can blow a balloon for her here and there, but there are things that she wanted to do by herself. Did you ever ask her about her dreams? Or did you just expect to follow you everywhere when you're trying to achieve yours? I stopped abruptly, widened my eyes, and asked with surprise in my face. Wait, your dream is to be a football player? I thought you wanted to grow potatoes in the countryside? I'm not gonna do that. Jacob yelled, hiding the fact that he thought the idea was not that bad in his heart. I didn't explain about the situation more as it would be useless for Jacob to fully understand it. He wasn't mature enough to handle this type of situation at this moment. It's not too late, you know? I said with a sly smirk. What do you mean? Jacob said, his eyes twinkled by the possibility of getting his girlfriend back. Beg. I said a single word before I ignored him. Jacob was stunned and his mind worked quickly to understand what I meant. Suddenly, he grabbed my shoulders and swung me front and back while asking tearily, What do you mean? I'm not telling you to apologize, as I know you can think it on your own. What you need to do is beg her to take you back. She's a prideful woman, so even if she wanted to come back to you, her ego won't let her do that. Of course, there's a chance she might not. Before I could finish my words, Jacob had already sprinted outside the library to go and search for Elsa. I shrugged and I picked a book from the rack before flipping through it, while eating my packed lunch in between. In only 10 minutes, I had memorized almost half of the thick science book. But then, someone slammed their phone with an article opened on top of the book. Oh, Edward Newgate, a collapsed star? I haven't even started yet, and they said my career was over? That's refreshing. I said with a chuckle as I read the article. Alex snapped, Don't smile. Ask Harvey or whomever to shut the article down. Nah. There's no need. I shrugged before I pulled out the chair next to me. She sat down before grumbling about every single article that was hinting a negative image on me, but I truly didn't care for them. It was mostly clickbait articles anyways. The collapsed star article actually predicted my career would be short-term and I would burn out soon, just like a dying star. They based their evidence on how I changed the way I sing in every song, making it impossible for me to create a unique style of singing of my own. Some even said you're a hustler that is only singing for the money. Alex grumbled before she cursed at the article writer. I laughed and said, that may actually be true. Seeing that Alex was angry, I added, I don't mind. Besides, these articles are only the minority opinions, right? My successful debut was known to the entire country, and I was currently receiving immense support on every single one of my songs. Miraculously, all of my 3 songs had climbed into the top 10 songs on Apple Music in less than one day. My debut shocked the entire music industry, and I couldn't be happier about it. Humph. You should sue all of them. Alex said with puffed-out cheeks before turning her attention to my books. Why are you reading about this? We won't reach the topic till grade 12. She looked at me as if I was an idiot while waiting for my answer. But I just laughed as a response. I had completed the entire syllabus till grade 11, but it's too much to say to Alex given how much she worked to become the top student in school. Alex didn't have an eidetic memory, and her hard work and competitiveness was the thing that accompanied her till she graduated as almost a valedictorian from Caltech University. It was a huge deal considering that she was born from a normal family and didn't have any special genius traits. Whatever. She said while shaking her wrist slightly in the air. She wanted to get back to writing before I stopped her. Is your wrist hurting? I asked. A little bit. Mrs. William wanted a 20-page history essay on the Battle of Gettysburg. So I finished it last night. I stared speechlessly at Alex after I heard it. What? She asked in confusion. She gave the assignment yesterday. Yeah. So? If I did it earlier, then I can use the time to edit it, do more research, then submit it for full marks before the deadline. She turned to the pages again, and I grabbed her hand this time. Hey, what gives? She asked in irritation. Don't right now, let your hand heal first. Otherwise, you need to take 3 days off to recuperate instead of a few hours just because you're too stubborn to let go. I'm not stubborn dash. You're. Let me help you massage it. I can make it better. Alex snorted as she heard it and said sarcastically, "You're a genius at massage now too?" I just laughed before she thought of something and asked me hurriedly, "Do you want to be a doctor in the future? Then, you can be the first medical doctor/artist in the world dash." I pushed my sandwich into her mouth to gag her before I said, "Relax your arm. Follow my guide." She nodded while nibbling at the sandwich slowly, and I gently put pressure on her forearm using my fingers. Alex wanted to scoff and rebuke me to say that it was her wrist that was hurting, but my electrifying touch made her brain filled with pleasure instead. I didn't know what I was doing to her brain, and I used my Miram beautifying massage skill to her right arm slowly and gently. As I reached her wrist, my every touch made her squirm at her seat. Blood rushed to her face and brain, and her mind was totally blanked out right now. "I feel a little sick," Alex said suddenly before she accidentally let out a cute burp. Both of us were stunned and looked at each other before I laughed and she became embarrassed by it. I don't want to be late to class. I will go now dash." She tried to stand up and ran away, but I pulled her back down and said, "Lunch isn't over in 5 more minutes." "No, I need to," Alex let out a cute moan as I started massaging her palm. For someone that writes as much as she does, her hand was the most sensitive place to get a massage. "Don't squirm. Be still," I said as Alex's face had turned as red as a tomato as I massaged her palm. I changed my skill and used my interphalangeal joint on my thumb to put pressure on the muscles underneath her thumb. "Ah!" Alex screamed as her brain was overloaded as I did the move. Her scream made the old librarian startled, and she wanted to check up on us, but at her speed that was as fast as a turtle, I had time till lunch was over before she could finally arrive at my spot. "Hey, are you okay?" I released my hand after she screamed. With teary eyes, Alex cursed, "Damn you," and ran away quickly from there without even storing all of her books and utensils. Her chair was a bit wet, but I didn't notice it. The bell rang soon after, so I helped her to pick up her stuff and placed it all in her locker before I walked to the classroom. I texted her, but she wasn't replying to my messages. What the hell did I do? I asked, confused. I understand that the massage skill could beautify someone, but I greatly underestimate the effect it has on the person getting massaged. Alex's commentary. Covering her face in embarrassment, she said, "My life is over. I can't see him again. Not after," softly, "I peed myself." Commentary ends. Third person POV. As Alex ran to the bathroom, she passed by Jacob, who was trying to talk to Elsa at this moment. None of them noticed each other, and it was a good thing for her as she didn't want anyone to know about her predicament right now. "I'm sorry. Please take me back," Jacob begged Elsa, but she only snorted and walked away, leaving behind a depressed Jacob. He had been trying hard, but he still hadn't spoken the right words yet. It was an ordeal for him, and although he could ask Edward for the hint, this time he wanted to receive Elsa's affection back on his own efforts. Jenna looked at Jacob as if he was an idiot, which she was not wrong about, and walked with her friend. "Why are you ignoring him? You said you want to get back together with him?" Jenna whispered to Elsa. I don't know. Stop asking me. Or I'll tell Edward you keep a lock of his hair and sniff it daily." "Hey, I don't sniff it daily," Jenna shouted in anger before pinching Elsa's bare waist. She huffed away, but stopped and said, "And I don't have a lock of his hair yet." "Yet?" Elsa thought in confusion. Edward POV. After school was over, I wanted to meet with Alex, but she was walking hurriedly away from me. I followed her while calling her, but she ignored me. And while I was following her, I accidentally walked to the school front where the paparazzis were waiting for me to come out. "Oh shit," I said while tipping my baseball cap down to avoid getting detected. Alex turned to look at me and saw my predicament. Her feet stopped without her consent. "Hey! Is that him?" One paparazzi noticed my figure among the students. "It's him! Edward, look over here!" They shouted and started breaching the school's fence to take a better shot with their cameras. I smiled wryly as I waved at them before Alex suddenly screamed, "Help! The pedophiles are entering the school." "What?" The paparazzi was confused, but the students reacted quickly. "Ah!" They screamed and ran away back into the school. Alex grabbed my wrist in the chaos and pulled me to Claire's minivan. "Hurry! Hurry!" Claire urged with her head sticking out of the window. She opened the car door wide and Alex threw me inside without warning. Before my feet were all the way inside the car, Claire pressed the gas pedal and drove away while the paparazzi were blocked by the school's security. "That's exhilarating," Claire said with a satisfied expression on her face. "This is kidnapping," I muttered. Alex rolled her eyes and suddenly realized something was missing inside the minivan. "Hey! Where's Luke?" Claire stopped the car abruptly and looked behind her, only to find that Luke was missing. All of us became anxious before Claire remembered what Luke said to her before while they were parked in front of the school. Flashback. "I forgot my bag. Wait for me. I'ma go get it," Luke said before getting out of the car. "Okay, honey. Be quick," Claire advised before looking forward again. Then, the incident happened. "We have to go back to pick him up," Claire said before making a U-turn to the school. Alex and I chuckled before she hit my shoulder angrily. "Ow. What's that for? What did you do to me? Why did I puke out after?" Alex whispered in a soft voice, but Claire could still hear it. She leaned her head back to the seat and tried to hear our conversation better. The massage had released some of the tension inside her body, making her puke out the bad stuff. The massage also stimulated parts of her brain, making her feel more refreshed than ever. "I told you. I'm only helping you release some tension in your hands." Claire could only hear till the tension part. Luckily for you, it's no longer hurting now." "It was hurting for a few days. I didn't realize you're so good at it." Claire could only hear the last two sentences. Her face turned ashen white, and her hairs were shaking a little. "How do you feel during?" "It's a bit electrifying." "Don't do that to another girl. They won't be able to take it." "What the hell did you guys do?" Claire finally snapped and turned to look at us with a face full of horror. The car swayed as she wasn't looking at the front, making both Alex and I scream in horror. "We almost died because of your mom's misunderstanding," I muttered to Alex. "I know," she said while looking at her mother in disappointment. Claire just smiled wryly as she was the one at fault and tried her best not to bring out the topic again. After settling the misunderstanding and picking up Luke, Claire brought me to her home instead of dropping me off at my place. "So, you want me to walk?" I asked with a disappointed tone. "Nonsense. I know you don't want to celebrate, so I bought a cupcake for you," Claire said before she smirked. "Then you can walk back to your house." "That's fair," I said with a didn't care shrug and followed her from behind. As we entered the house, suddenly Phil and Haley popped confetti at my face. "Congratulations, Ed." My dad, Aunt Camila, Phil, Claire, Haley, Abby, Desiree, Jay, Gloria, Manny, Mitch and Cam were all there to celebrate my successful launch. Even the baby Lily was holding a balloon in her hand while looking at me with a shocked face. She was surprised from the confetti. "It's a successful surprise this time," Claire bragged as she was the one who made it all possible. I looked at Alex with a betrayed face, but she shook her head quickly as even she was surprised by the party. After asking around, I found out that the mastermind of the whole operation was Phil, so I just sighed and reluctantly enjoyed the party. As Phil was telling me about their family's trampoline he just had fixed, Pepper called me with some news. "I need to take the call," I said to Phil, making him downcast. Claire asked him as I walked away, "What is your purpose?" "I want to share the first jump experience with him, but he doesn't seem interested." He slumped his shoulders in disappointment. Claire nodded in understanding and patted Phil's back to comfort him. "Interviews?" I asked after hearing what he said. "Yeah. A couple. I can help you with the scripts, but the main point is to do it tonight. Pepper explained. Sure. I replied casually. Pepper breathed a sigh of relief before saying, "Or some nice clothes." I scoffed and said, "When did I ever wear bad ones?" He paused and laughed. Okay. I'll see you there. See you there. That wraps up this part of What If Karmic Gacha System in Modern Family World. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.